49ers morning update. Brandon Aiyuk, Ricky Pearsall topics in this one, and then I have got a few good intel clips to play for you. But Ricky Pearsall, shoulder injury, 49ers trying to protect him from himself. He wants to be back out there already, but they're saying wait until next week. He's working off on the side yesterday, and looks like he's close to ready to go. He was actually talking to Brandon Aiyuk, who was watching practice yesterday. These two guys are former teammates in college at ASU before Pearsall transferred to Florida. Speaking of Aiyuk, John Lynch was just on KMBR, and he said that there's no bad blood between Aiyuk and the 49ers. That's obviously good news because I think that bad blood implies longer-term problems. Lynch did acknowledge that, emotions might have gripped the situation at times, but that's, part of what makes John Lynch, I think, so effective at his job. He's a stabilizing presence in the 49ers building. Probably doesn't get nearly enough credit for the positive impact, the stabilizing impact that he has had on the 49ers. I mean, there have been a lot of challenges that they faced over the course of the past 8 seasons, and John Lynch, I think, has been in that CEO-type role throughout that time, allowing the 49ers to be as successful as they've been. So this is another big challenge for John Lynch. They're not out of the woods with Brandon Aiyuk yet, but he also added on KMBR that he does feel the urgency. The team feels the urgency to sign Brandon Aiyuk. I've always talked about this time of the year, mid-August, being an informal deadline for the 49ers. They avoid the prolonged situation that they saw last year with Nick Bosa. That obviously hurt them, and we will indeed see if they're able to get this done sooner so that they could start focusing fully on the 2024 season at the receiver position. Go listen to Richard Sherman's podcast. Diamond Lenore said that he had a gut feeling that he needed to play nickelback in the Super Bowl. He obviously didn't. Steve Wilkes played Logan Ryan instead. The staff didn't listen to Diamond Lenore, and Sherm, it was a very Sherm thing to say, tells Demo, next time, just go above their heads and go tell Kyle Shanahan. Make sure that Kyle gets that done and puts you at nickel. Context there is that Demo had been playing nickel up until the Super Bowl. Ambry Thomas had been playing outside corner, and the 49ers determined they didn't want Thomas playing outside, so they moved Diamond Lenore outside against the Chiefs, and Logan Ryan started playing the nickelback position. He gave up 5 catches and a touchdown, a 126.8 rating into his coverage. It obviously didn't go great. Demo said that he just had a feeling looking at the tape that the ball was going to the slot a lot from Patrick Mahomes, and he thinks that could have been the winning difference. Now, the 49ers made a lot of changes since then. Obviously, Logan Ryan retired, but they fired Steve Wilkes. They brought in Brandon Staley. He's working on with defensive backs, mainly from his assistant head coach role. New defensive coordinator is Nick Sorensen. And obviously they've bulked up the DB room. Ambry Thomas is a broken forearm now, so he's obviously not part of the mix at the very moment. But between signing Isaac Yiadom, Rock Yassin, drafting Ronaldo Green, the 49ers have given themselves many, many more possibilities at cornerback to where they don't have to be pigeonholed with somebody like Ambry Thomas at outside corner, and that theoretically should allow them to keep Diamond Lenore in the slot in those nickel situations. I've got a video to play for you right now. This is Kyle Juszczyk on 49ers running backs coach Bobby Turner.
Because he's the best in the world at what he does, and he loves it. I don't think there's anything else that he would rather be doing. He tells us all the time he'll wake up in the middle of the night and he'll just chuckle to himself about a joke that we've had in our room, and all of us laughing together, and just how tight of a group we are and how much success we've had together. And I think that's just what drives him, and I think he truly, truly loves the game, and he loves coaching, that room. For sure, it definitely does. Because not everybody coaches the same, and like you said, he coaches very hard. He's going to be very strict. He's going to be making sure you're on top of every assignment. He doesn't let Christian and I, loosen up at any point. We got to be on our stuff. We're still. My 8th year with him, I still do a running back test before every game, and those are a good 8 pages thick, and that's just that's how he is. But I really truly have grown. I've always loved Bobby, but I each and every year I appreciate him even more Because it is easy sometimes when you've done things for so long and you've done the same things to let up a little bit, to get just a little bit lackadaisical. But he makes sure that can never happen and that you are on top of it. And I've never gone into a game feeling unprepared. He makes sure you are always feel prepared and confident in everything you do.
A written test?
Yes. You got to turn it in the night before the game. It is a printed out written test. Typically, right before we go on the plane when we travel, or Saturday morning if we're at home.
What's a passing grade?
You know what? You don't get it back. You turn it in, but if there's anything alarming, he'll be sure to let you know.
So that was Juszczyk on Turner yesterday. Now you need to listen to Chris Furster, the 49ers offensive line coach, on rotating offensive linemen. We saw it last year with Spencer Burford and John Feliciano at right guard. Might we see it again? I mean, the 49ers are trying to get another rookie involved in Dominic Pooney. So this is a good philosophical question. Here's how Furster has approached that.
Oh, it's huge. And I don't even know why. I don't know how I prepare, how I decide to do it, but you can kind of tell. I even did it with Feliciano, who I didn't think Burford. I didn't think Feliciano was going to play as much in the it was a Green Bay game in the playoffs. But also I noticed, I said, 97 was giving him some issues. So instead of getting in a routine of rushing John Feliciano, you put Burford in there, and the defender has to deal with a different guy. For young players, that was the sidelight. It can help anybody. For a young player, what it is those plays start mounting up where you start doing some bad. You get out and just take a step away. It stops whatever's going on, and you get to go back in and restart. That guy then has to deal with a different player. And over the course of time, usually what happens is you have a veteran player and a younger player. The younger player you think has more talent, that's why you're alternating. He's just not quite ready to play 60 plays a game. And our position is one, like some other positions on the field, that defensive line, for example, you can get a rookie 20, 30, 40 plays because they rotate so much. That's what starters do. Offensive linemen, you can't. People think you shouldn't. I know you can do it. And it does. That's a great way to work a player in just because he doesn't get exposed. Analytics was, they would say, every time we took him out, they were saying that was about the time his play was starting to do this. Now, I'm not saying I did it because of that. I kind of had in my mind 2 series, 3 series, but you can kind of feel that, and you talk to them on the side, you feel that things are getting a little loose. Let's bring them back over here, and they stand for a minute, catch their breath, and they can usually get back into a rhythm.
A lot of offensive coaches preach the continuity. When did you first maybe do that with the figuring out, okay, it was worth shuttling?
Well, here's what I saw. When I was with the Vikings, we drafted a rookie tackle that I watched him be completely destroyed, like just week after week, game after game. He wasn't quite good enough. He wasn't quite ready. And by mid to the end of the season, he went on IR because he was beat up. He was just hanging on for dear life. And we didn't have somebody to rotate, but we did have somebody that would have helped him, you know. When I went to Tampa, we drafted we had a veteran player there at right tackle that came from another team, and we had a right tackle that I thought could be as good. And we just started rotating. That was the first time I did it. It was back in, I think we were in Orange. I think it was 1996 I did it. And then I did it again in Baltimore, and did a couple different places where it's been managed through it. We've been lucky, you know, that it's worked out. But it's worked out that way that you can help the development.
And speaking of O-line strategy, who's first, they're talking about the 49ers backup center competition.
Well, right now it's, you have Barch and Zakel that are battling out with Nugent there as well. You got 3 guys there that can do it, and that will work the backup, and we'll see how it plays out as the year goes on. Zakel obviously took the starting reps. I would say that if you looked at him and said, what's Zakel's strengths and what Barch's are, I think that Zakel's probably playing a little bit better. Center suited him better, and guard probably suits Barch better. And not that either one of them play center. That's the first game Zakel's ever played in a game center, and that was it in college anywhere. So, and I just stated that. So I give him the edge right now, but they're both right there, because then if you move Zakel to guard, Barch to center, it just depends on what you're looking at. You look at, say, okay, one of those guys will be your 3rd or 4th guard, backup center. It's a lot of pieces we're moving there, but that's where it sits right now.
All right, that's our morning update off to Santa Clara. We'll talk to you guys very soon.